What if the pursuit of perfection is the very thing that is preventing you from achieving your goals in life, as well as keeping you in a poor state of health? Now, when we arrive on this earth, we arrive with a blank canvas that is the mind. And this is oftentimes programmed with this obsessive need for flawlessness. And this leaves many of us feeling trapped and often debilitated in a state of fear of not being good enough. What will the world think about me if I put myself out there as is? And this ends up sapping a lot of the joy, creativity, and vitality out of our life. And as a result, there's less energy and life force in our life in order to do the work that we came here to do. And this reduction of life force energy is often what leads us to developing poor health outcomes. And so it's so vitally important to let go of this need to be perfect. Because who defines perfect? And it really requires a lot of self-reflection to understand what is this concept of perfectionism and really get to the root of it, so that it no longer prevents us from taking the steps that we need to take towards our goals in life in order to lead a more fulfilling and joyful life. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of my observations as well as learnings of how to let go of this need for perfectionism. There are many times in my life where I failed to take action because of this notion of what will others think about me? What will they have to say if I'm just not good enough? If I don't present that aspect of self that displays what I consider perfect. But this led me down the path of reflection, to really reflect on this concept of perfection and understand where is this vision of myself that embodies perfection really coming from. And this led me down the path of questioning how the matrix ends up programming our minds. And this is very strategically done. When you consider how this matrix society ends up programming us, it's oftentimes to program us to be dull, conformists, and just fit in with everyone so that we don't do anything that is outside the norms, so that we can fit neatly into society and just become another cog in the wheel. And this is what holds so many people back from taking steps towards their goals in life. It was something that was holding me back from expressing the creativity, from even putting YouTube videos out, because I thought, what would other people think about me? And I want to share with you something that I've been going through recently. And I often make videos and I do a number of takes with these videos, but I noticed that there was an energy that was coming out of me that was very confrontational, very assertive. And because I was so concerned, what will others think about me? How is this going to resonate with the audience? People don't like this type of person to be talking to them. They want that kind, compassionate person to always be portraying the messages that they need to hear in life. They don't want somebody who is like me. And because of that, I failed to put those videos out. I oftentimes ended up deleting these videos because I thought, well, they just would not resonate with people out there, would fail to deliver the messages that need to be delivered. And this is a common trap of perfectionism, because it was taking me further from true self, further from my authentic self. And we all have different personas, and there's different personas that come out at different times. And it's the injustice that we do both to ourselves as well as society, by not expressing the true self, by not expressing the messages, because we are caught up in this trap of perfectionism. And so a lot of this reflection has led me to really learning to embrace who I am and not go through the myriads of editing in order to get my videos to embody that aspect of perfection that I consider because of what has been programmed within my mind by the very matrix structure. So it's a lot of the reflection on this to let go of this programming, to start embracing who I am. So what if I'm a fool on camera? So what if people think whatever they want to think? It's about the inherent messages that I wish to convey. So whatever it is that you want to do, maybe you want to paint images, and your images may not be something that in your mind you consider perfect, and so you scrap a lot of these images. But if you had put out these images to the world, there may have been somebody who found the beauty in those images. So oftentimes, you go to art galleries and you wonder, what the hell was the person thinking, put up a piece of art, and those pieces of art will sell for millions of dollars. So that just goes to show that we may have these aspects of perfection that have been baked into us, but they're nothing but fallacies in our mind that hold us back from articulating our true self. And it doesn't need to be the same as what others perceive as good or something that would be acceptable in society. So perfectionism ends up holding us back from taking the steps that we need to take, as well as sapping life force energy out of us. Now, the same things may apply to health. And yes, it has an influence in terms of sapping a lot of life force energy out of us, but it's also this notion of what is perceived as an embodiment of beauty, what is perceived as an embodiment of health and vitality. And we have mainstream media ending up programming people with what should be considered as healthy and vibrant individuals. Now let me give you an example, because this is something that I personally experienced, and I perceived it from my own perspective as well as witnessing what others were going through in terms of the reflections of what is considered healthy. So as many of you probably can perceive, that I'm a person of very small stature. So I don't have like big bulky muscles, and I'm not somebody who is generally has a lot of body fat. I'm generally a very skinny type of person. And because of this, I'd often have so many people walk up to me from the family, even sometimes people out in society who don't even know me, who would look up to me and say, "Hey, but you're really skinny, you should pick up some weight, you should do something to eat some more proteins or things to bulk up so that you can look better." And so this starts to percolate in my mind, and I think to myself, but maybe I'm not healthy, maybe I'm not eating the right foods, maybe I should be eating more fatty foods. And it starts to mess around with the mind so that you start to make more unhealthy health choices, think that something is wrong. It's almost like a virus in and of itself, because once it claws into you, you start to think, maybe I'm not healthy, maybe I need to do more to change the way I look, to start consuming the right foods, to start doing the right things so that I can look healthy to what society considers as healthy. Now, on the contrary, I was also observing a number of family members and other individuals go up to individuals who had maybe a little bit more than average body fat. Who even knows whether it's average? And complain to them saying, you should work on trying to reduce your body fat so that you can you can be more healthy. But what is really considered healthy? In no ways these individuals were considered morbidly obese or even obese for that matter. However, this concept of what is considered healthy is something that has been programmed into society. Because certain people look a certain way, we often tend to form preconceived judgments about their health while not having any clue about it. Even from the medical professional's perspective, they have this notion of what is considered normal body weight, average body weight, but is that really an indication of your underlying health and vibrancy? And something that we need to consider relative to every individual, because every individual may have a different body constitution. And because of that, they have different characteristics and traits. However, by constantly being in conflict with it, we allow for these viruses, or which I call viruses because they are like viruses in terms of infecting our minds with the belief that we are not healthy. And because of that, we often end up manifesting a lot of the disease and sicknesses in our bodies because we allow for that to enter into our conscious mind. We allow for people to tell us that we're not healthy. And the minute that starts to percolate, it's like as if it's already dug its claw into your mind. And that is why I think this concept of perfectionism and what is programmed into society as what is perfect, because we start to obsess around this notion of perfect, trying to embed it in the different facets of our life. And because of that, it often leads us to not expressing our true self, not taking the steps towards our goals, and also allowing these vices to claw into us and manifest poor health outcomes. So I did mention at the start of the video, I'm going to give you some tips to help you break free from this cycle of perfectionism. Now, there are many schools of thought here. Some will say, well, you just take action and not care what people will think about. And sure, that is probably the number one way to go about it. But it's hard to break free of these patterns once they've established themselves within us. And one thing that I found really helpful is just to start to observe kids and watch how kids are able to break free of it. They don't care what others think about them. They just act, especially the ones that haven't had their consciousness programmed by a lot of the beliefs of what is considered acceptable in society. And maybe in your life, you were growing up and your parents told you that you needed to conform to a certain standard, you needed to behave in a certain way, not be naughty, not do certain things, don't go jumping in puddles. So maybe as an adult, start to do the little things that make you more vibrant, feel alive. Maybe it's taking a bunch of pillows and having a pillow fight, or if you see a huge puddle of mud, go and jump into that puddle of mud. If you're running, instead of avoiding the puddles, just run through the puddles. And that's going to help to break this attachment to wanting to be perfect, to start to integrate these behaviors into your life, to start to break that embodiment of perfection within your mind. And once you start to break it, you will allow your true self to start being expressed, to step into that creativity and allow for that energy to flow through you so that you can bring in more of that creative aspects and deliver your value to the world, irrespective of what others are going to think about you, because we all have those unique gifts that we need to share with the world. And whatever it is, it may not be something that you think others may like, but you'll be surprised once you step into that authenticity, and once you step into your own true self and you break these free from the shackles of perfectionism, the gifts that will make themselves known to you. With that, thank you so much for watching this video. If any of this content resonates with you or proves helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe. And please do leave your comments in the comment section below. And with that, I'll see you in my next video.